Greetings my fellow Fright Fiends, it's your buddy BoogeyMan Ben here for a new episode of BoogeyMan Ben's Horror Zone, and today's video is a ranking video. This is a ranking I wanted to do during the month of October, but because I was doing my top 100 horror films of all time, I thought I'd wait until after. This is going to be a ranking of the Halloween franchise. Now I'm not going to go into a lot of details about this because I've already done reviews of these films. I did one last year, my Countdown to Halloween series last year, where I gave a ranking for all 10 Halloween films at that time, and I've already given a review of the new Halloween film this year, Halloween 2018. But now that we have that film, we have 11 Halloween films total, I thought it'd be kind of fun to go back and kind of rank these in order and also fit in the new film and see where that ranks, and if people might be shocked how high or how low that I rank it. But like I said, I'm not going to go into a lot of details. I'm just going to go through all 11 films and say, you know, how they rank in the series. Again, as I mentioned in the series that I did last year, there isn't a Halloween film that I don't like, even ones that people, you know, really are unhappy with or hate outright. There isn't one film in this franchise that I absolutely hate. I actually like all of them. They all hold a little special place in my memory of seeing them for the first time on the screen and just becoming a fan of the franchise in general. So without further ado, I'm going to go through them, and like I said, these are just ranking them from my lowest to my highest favorite. I hope everyone enjoys this, and the first one I'm going to go with is going to be 11th, so the very bottom of my list, and it should be no surprise, this is most people's, is Halloween Resurrection. I don't hate this film like some people do. Yes, there are problems with it. I do like a lot of elements of this film. I think some things do work. I think the Myers house looks really cool in it. I think they captured it perfectly. Busta Rhymes doesn't bother me as much as he bothers some people. And I had a fun time seeing it in the movie theater, so yeah. Bottom of my list, but I don't hate it, and I actually enjoy watching it from time to time. Number 10 on my list is going to go to Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Just a couple of issues I have in terms of story. I didn't care for the Tina character. Again, no disrespect to Wendy Kaplan who played her. This movie was just kind of all over the place. I hated the Myers house in this. It just made no sense that it was this big gothic house. There's no continuity at all. I didn't like the fact that Rachel was killed off the way that she was after being a huge part of Halloween 4 and one of my favorite people in the franchise. So just some issues that I had with it, but I do think there's some really cool parts to this film. I think the overall look of it is really cool. I thought Don Shanks was a great Michael Myers, and of course Danielle Harris and Donald Pleasence both did fantastic jobs in this, but just not my favorite. So number 9 on my list is going to go to Rob Zombie's Halloween, the very first movie that Rob Zombie did, the remake. There's some issues I have with this, particularly with the director's cut of this film. I think the rape scene is completely unnecessary, and that's one element that I just think doesn't need to be there. But there are some good elements to it. I think Scout Taylor Compton is fantastic in the film, as is Danielle Harris. I think she's really good in it. Brad Dourif is fantastic. I love Malcolm McDowell as Loomis, even though his take was a little bit different. And Tyler Mane is a fantastic Michael Myers. I absolutely love him in the role. But yeah, just a few things about it, but I still love this film, and I saw it twice in the movie theater, so still a movie I enjoy watching. Number 8 on my list is going to go to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. This is a film I really love. I think it's a really interesting story. I love Tom Atkins. I think he's fantastic in everything he does. I also think Stacey Nelkin and Dan O'Hurley are fantastic in this. I think Tommy Lee Wallace did a great job. I think, and I've always said it, if this had been an independent Halloween film and just been called Season of the Witch and it was outside of the Halloween franchise, I think this would have been a huge hit. But yeah, I still think this film is fantastic. It's really grown on me over the years, and I absolutely love it now. Number 7 is going to go to Halloween H20. The issues I have with this film I've talked about. I don't really care for Chris Durand as Michael Myers. This has a lot of elements too reminiscent of Scream. That was just the franchise that was killing it back in the day. The third act of this film is the act that really makes this film stand out, but I still love a lot of the people in it. I still think Jamie Lee Curtis is fantastic. LL Cool J really kills it, and I'm a big fan of Josh Hartnett. I think he does a fantastic job. Just a couple of things I'm not happy with, and but other than that, I still think it's a fantastic film. It was one that I really enjoyed seeing in the movie theater. Number 6 on my list is going to go to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I think this movie's fantastic. I am so glad that more people are starting to realize, you know, the brilliance of this film. This is Rob Zombie's Halloween. It's his own story, It has so many cool elements. I love the whole spirituality behind it. I also love the way that Scout Taylor Compton was portraying, you know, someone that's going through PTSD after what she suffered at the hands of Michael Myers and losing her family in the first film. All the performances are great, particularly Danielle Harris, Scout Taylor Compton, and Brad Dourif. I think all three of them truly shine. But Tyler Mane is fantastic as Michael Myers again. I really love so many elements of this film, and I've enjoyed it. The first time I watched it, I loved both cuts of the film. I prefer the director's cut, but I think both are fantastic, and I think people need to give this movie another shot. It's actually a brilliant film, and I don't care who gets mad at me for saying that. I think Rob Zombie deserves a lot more credit for the work that he did on this. Number 5 on my list is going to go to Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. Now, I prefer the producer's cut over the theatrical cuts. There are elements of the theatrical cut I do like. Some of the slow motion kill scenes, the ones that are a little bit more gory, I do like those a little bit better, but the producer's cut in terms of story I think is an all-around better film. It pays much more respect to Donald Pleasence as Dr. Loomis. This was his swan song as the character. George Wilbur does a fantastic job as reprising his role as Michael Myers. I think he's fantastic in this. It's really a scary film, and I really love a lot of the tributes to the original film that are in it as well. Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers. This has always been one of my favorite Halloween films. I saw this movie opening night. It was the first Halloween film I ever saw in the theater. Had absolute blast with it. I've loved it ever since I saw it 30 years ago. Just fantastic. Love the fact that Pleasence came back to play Loomis. I also think George P. Wilbur and Tom Morgan both did a great job of playing Michael Myers in this. Danielle Harris is fantastic as Jamie Lloyd. Of course, can't say enough great things about Ellie Cornell as Rachel Carruthers. I love her as well, and I think this film was terrifically written by Alan B. McElroy and directed by Dwight Little. I love the fall themes. The opening is fantastic. The ending is a kick in the nuts. It's a ballsy film, and it still evokes so much emotion from me watching it. It's truly terrifying, and it's one of the best films in the entire franchise. Number 3 on my list is going to go to in 2018, the brand new film by David Gordon Green, returning Jamie Lee Curtis to the role of Laurie Strode and bringing back Nick Castle for a small cameo as Michael Myers. And then also you have Will Patton, Judy Greer, and James Jude Courtney as The Shape. This film was fantastic. It is just such a great return to form for Michael Myers. Michael Myers is very scary when you don't know what is making him tick, and I feel like they really went back to the drawing board of what made this character so scary in the first place. It's a fantastic film. Like I said in my review, it blew me away. I got emotional watching it because it was really taking us back to the elements of what made John Carpenter's original film so fantastic. Cannot say enough great things about this film. It's absolutely wonderful. Okay, number 2 on my list is going to go to Halloween 2. As much as I love the new Halloween, it still couldn't unseat this one from second place. Halloween 2 is the first film in the franchise that I watched before seeing John Carpenter's original. This movie got a lot of elements right, and I don't think Rick Rosenthal gets enough credit for continuing the legacy of Halloween and also really having a look and feel similar to John Carpenter. It's very scary. I still think it's one of the scariest horror films ever made. It evokes so much fear. I love the ending of this film in the hospital, the showdown with Loomis and Laurie and Michael. I still think it's one of the best endings in any horror film, and nothing can really unseat it for me. It's truly a terrific film. And last but not least, the original John Carpenter's Halloween will always be my number 1. This film is truly amazing. I rewatched it before I did my top 100 horror films of all time, and also before the new Halloween came out. I wanted to watch this one before I watched the new film, and this film is just so amazing. I don't care what anybody says. It's paced beautifully, fantastically acted, tension in this, and Nick Castle portraying Michael Myers is truly one of the most terrifying villains ever put on screen. One of the best horror films ever made. Nothing will ever unseat this classic. So that is going to be it, my fellow fiends. Like I said, I just wanted to do a ranking of all of the Halloween films now that we have our newest Halloween film out. I'm so glad that Michael Myers is back. It was a character I really missed seeing on the big screen, and we had a 9-year hiatus, and it was a wait that was well worth it, in my opinion. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of my ranking. I know Christian Hannah Hoarder just did one of these as well. I really liked his ranking video, and I hope you'll check his out. I'll put that down below too. He's a great guy. Go and support his channel. Puts out amazing content. Can't say enough great things about the guy. And if you guys are interested in checking out my social media links, those are down below as well. And as always, stay tuned for some more great content coming real soon. Take it easy, stay scared as always. Peace. I have a Patreon page. If everybody wants to help support me, the link is down below. And if you do help support me, Dracula here will get more treats, and Dracula really loves his treats. So any support that you can give me would be very, very much appreciated. Right, Drac?